All right. Councilmember Price.
Thank you, Mr. President. I need to recuse myself from item 37 because my wife's employer has worked with an applicant on this item in the past.
All right. Councilmember Rodriguez. Before we do that, as we've done, I think we're in excess of 200 days now since the so-called immigration enforcement operation has descended upon our city and first of all violated our values and violated the Constitution of the United States, but has completely disrupted our way of life and our quality of life. And so as Angelenos, we stand with all of our neighbors, and so we have two testimonials today. First, we'll hear from CD 13, and then we'll hear from CD 7. Councilmember Soto Martinez.
Thank you so much, Council President, for taking this space to highlight a very important issue happening in all of our communities. Standing with me today is Job Garcia, a CD 13 resident, PhD student, and a U.S. citizen who was detained by ICE on June 19th at the Home Depot in Hollywood. Many of you might have seen the videos from that morning where you can see Job being tackled violently to the ground by masked agents and arrested because of the color of his skin. Job is a U.S. citizen, and he informed the agents of that as he was being arrested. But that didn't stop Border Patrol and ICE. They also injured him and held him in custody for 24 hours, first at Dodger Stadium and then at the detention center in downtown LA. Luckily, our office was able to get in touch with Job through his brother Elias, who is here today, and also with his mother, who was very worried about what was happening that day. Job, I had the opportunity to sit with Joe in his living room with his mom and his brother, and he told me of all the horrible things that he witnessed and the horrible things that ICE was saying as he was being detained and how they laughed about what they were doing. But today, Job is here to tell us his story so he can share with the public and this council. Go ahead, Job.
Good morning. That was a very complete synopsis of my experience. So I don't want to reiterate the generalities of my experience. So I would like to focus on a particular detail that has remained with me, has kept me up at night just thinking about it. Shortly after I was put in handcuffs, just before that, as I was walking around the Home Depot parking lot and informing the people that they were detaining of their rights to remain silent, there was two gentlemen that were being detained, and after I was detained and put inside of the van, they sat me next to them. One of the gentlemen, he was a Salvadorian national who was in the process of doing it the right way. He had a lawyer. His partner, he was a Mexican national. He didn't know how to. He was visibly scared, and I'm gonna say this in Spanish because he told me in Spanish, and then I'll translate. He said, "El día en que mi esposa me dijo que no me fuera a trabajar porque presentía que algo malo me iba a pasar, es el día que fui a trabajar," which translates to the one day that my wife told me not to go to work because she sensed that something was going to happen to me, I went to work. His partner said, I'll say it in Spanish, he said, "And ella tiene 6 meses de embarazo." I translate, he said, and she has 6 months she's 6 months pregnant. When he said that tore my heart because I knew at that moment he wasn't going to see his child born. This was in June. If my math serves me correct, she would have already given birth without him being present, because literally 2 days after we were detained, he was shipped to Texas on the process, getting ready to be repatriated back to Mexico. That really stuck with me because I felt almost like I didn't do enough to protect him. And I always think about this gentleman. I wonder how his child is doing without a father. So without taking too much of the time, one of the reoccurring themes that I have heard as I've spoken with other people who have experienced these ICE raids is they feel this lack of support from elected officials, that not enough is being done. They believe that you guys are not just elected officials, but elected servants to serve the people that have placed you there, especially when we are witnessing how cities like Chicago and their mayor are handling. Not enough is being done. Not enough is being done. No, there's no actual change has ever been done, has ever been achieved by being passive. And so I encourage you guys not to use my story just as a prop to push an agenda. I sincerely ask you to use my story. And if you don't even remember my story, remember that child that was born without a father present. At least let that stay with you. And so I personally have been a little disappointed with how our elected officials have handled the situation. So just moving forward, I kindly ask that you guys do everything you can to stand up to this government and what they're doing, the separation of families. There's actually, and it's not even just separation of families. There's actual people dying in these detention centers, and that's not something that you want to be responsible for. So I kindly ask that you guys just continue to not passively, but in a very aggressive and a very passionate, continue to change to happen. So thank you so much for your attention. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Job, and thank you for coming here and sharing your story and encouraging us to do more, because we can always do more. Thank you so much, Job.
Thank you. Now we'll hear from Councilmember Rodriguez.
Thank you, colleagues. So I want to thank Mr. Soto Martinez for bringing in his guests to document and share his experience of what's happened. And we know so many people in our communities and throughout the country have been unlawfully pursued, abducted, assaulted, and as governments, we have been very fractured in our response from the different municipalities, from up and down the state of California, from across the country. And I think it's very well said to say that collectively there needs to be a much stronger unified resistance to the actions of the federal government. And I think so many of our cities have been acting independently, trying to level efforts that have hoped to affect some change. And what's infuriating and challenging throughout all of this is, how do you stop a president and a federal government who clearly has no respect for the law? And so we're in this incredible time. But my guest this morning is someone who I think, and I've become addicted to following his daily memo on capturing the stories and the videos and the impacts across Southern California. He has been that voice from LA Taco that has done a remarkable job of capturing in great detail, with great sincerity and humanity. And so this morning, I invited Memo Torres from LA Taco to come and share his words and experiences, as I can't imagine the weight of what he does, but one of the things that he shared with me that I was so grateful to learn is that absent the central repository that exists for all of the video footage that has occurred, that has been documented by so many individuals across Southern California, he has hundreds of hours of records that he has documented that I hope will be the tools, that will be the reckoning, that will hold the individuals accountable that have enacted these heinous crimes against humanity. And so, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my guest, Memo Torres.
I have to bend down to speak to this. Sorry, guys. Yeah, my name is Memo Torres with LA Taco. I have been documenting the raids, like Councilmember Rodriguez mentioned, since the very beginning. I have thousands of hours, about 5 terabytes worth of video, going back the last 6 months. And it shocks me. It shocks me to hear from politicians, from Mayor Bass, a couple weeks ago, just trying to go on national television and say the raids aren't as bad. But we only have 2 or 3 raids. It shocks me to know that politicians, our people, our leaders aren't paying attention to the issue, and I don't know why. This isn't going away. I can tell you that it's escalating. We are seeing record numbers daily now of raids. I used to do these reports and maybe announce 5 or 10 raids. We're at 20 daily now a day. We're seeing close to 100 people a week being taken when we used to only see 40 people. And you know who these people are? They're elderly people. For the most part, it's people with canes, people that can't walk, people that can't stand up straight, people that just had heart attacks, need medications, are diabetics, on dialysis, our most vulnerable of folks. And they're getting sent to these detention centers like Adelanto with no medical facilities, no medical treatment. And I've talked to people whose family members have died. Okay? Ismaela Uribe, Gabriel Garcia Aviles. And they've seen at the Victorville Hospital patients in handcuffs in their beds in the emergency room lobbies. People gotten abused physically, people not getting their medications, dying, and DHS trying to claim that it's alcohol withdrawal or some bullshit like that. You know who's out there doing the real fight and doing the standing up? And I'm sorry, council members, I mean, they need your support. It's the people. It's our rapid responders. They're out there daily using their gas, their time, taking time away from work, organizing themselves, doing counterintelligence, surveillance, and trying to be out there in the streets to prevent more people getting taken. And they are effective, but they need support. And you know who else needs support? The families of the victims. There's a lot of aftercare that needs to be done. People don't have resources. Their lawyers are maxed out. They're getting deported to Tijuana without anything. They get their whatever IDs they have, cell phones, money. They get dumped off in a country that they don't know, away from where they originally are from, with no resources. And you know who's helping them out? Local community people. So I want to challenge City Council, all of you council members in here, to really reach out to these rapid responders, to really reach out to these organizations, the people on the ground, and see how you can help them out and provide resources to the people being taken, to the people doing the actual fight on the ground, because they need support. They need legal help. They need funding, and they need to know that you guys have their backs. Okay? Y'all like to be up here and talk about it, but the people on the ground need support and action. And honestly, that's one of the things I want to come and say to you, everybody here at City Council. You guys need to be aware. I document this daily. I've been doing this for 6 months now, and I'm barely hearing that you guys are going to start getting reports on these videos and these incidents. And I asked Councilmember Rodriguez, I'm like, do you guys have the last 6 months? Because I have 5 terabytes worth of videos, over 3,000 incidents, horrific images. So I'm glad you guys are finally doing something. It's about 6 months too late, in my opinion. You should have started 6 months ago. So if you guys are going to still sit here and just listen to me talk and then go back to your usual agendas, that's fine. I don't expect anything else. I hope you guys surprise me and start doing something. Okay? Because I don't want to hear in 6 months that you're actually going to start doing something else when you should have started today. So thank you for your time.
Thank you, Memo. And colleagues, I invited Memo because it's a reminder as we enter this holiday season and this council goes on recess. What isn't going to go on recess is the assault on our community. And during these times, when families are already struggling economically, let's think about what else we're going to do and what shouldn't be held up in our committees any longer, so that we can hear these items and start moving a much more aggressive agenda. Thank you.
Well, thank you. I want to take the opportunity to thank the council, and particularly to thank Councilmember Hernandez. My name is Aaron Thomas. I'm the Director of Urban Forestry with a nonprofit called Northeast Trees based in Northeast LA. I wanted to thank you all for the opportunity in moving the process forward for the city providing at least 2 Northeast trees for us to reactivate the property surrounding the old historic Lincoln Heights jail. Our plan would be to turn this former site of punishment into a nexus of life, growth, and community connection, to do something good in a time which, obviously we need more good, positive things to happen at this time. When this moves forward, it would allow Northeast Trees to lead the transformation of a portion of the property into a critical resource for environmental and restorative justice. This will be long and costly, but we look forward to the challenge, and we have decades of experience transforming.
Your time has expired, but did you also want general public comment?
No, that's all. I just wanted to thank you all for this opportunity. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Next speaker.
Good morning. Good morning. My name is Jessie Hawkins, and I work at LAX. I've been there going on 7 years. And I want to speak about the Olympic wages. I was so happy when I got the news that it had passed, that we was going to get a raise. And then all of a sudden we was told it's a no-go. That's very disturbing. And I wonder how and why, with everything around me, housing, food price, medical, everything's going up. And I done tried everything I know how, but I'm stretched to the limit. And I appeal to you all this morning to hear my voice. Now, in my background, I come from a family of 14. But my father was able to provide for us with no help from anyone.
Your time has expired.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning. Which
Hello,
items?
my name is Cesar Lopez, and I am a subway worker here in Los Angeles. I, like many other workers in this industry, have been struggling with wage theft at my store. I have been working at my subway for over 5 years. Since the beginning of my employment, my employer would make me continue working long after clocking out for the day. This extra time work was not paid. If I refused, he would verbally harass me and jab his finger on my chest. After joining the union and learning about my rights, I was able to start defending myself. But I know there are many workers like me out there dealing with similar issues who don't know their rights. By supporting the fast food fair work ordinance, you can help many workers like me better protect and defend themselves.
So I'm actually very proud of being part of this community and being part of this official meeting. And in speaking about that, this is exactly why I am here in support to have this application granted. I feel that in order for the continued control by the city of LA of alcoholic beverages, it is necessary to have some type of leadership and some type of control. And it is because of that I support this tenant to apply and obtain their license. I feel that they're a responsible operator, and I truly feel that this type of ongoing leadership that the city of LA has of having this type of institutions maintain and keep licenses makes the city of LA a safer community. Thank you.
Good morning. Which
One
items?
of the items that I signed up for has to do with the repair of the homeless housing. And as I read in the Times, that's a big issue. Yeah. So I'm totally for that. By the way, Rodriguez, a statement about Trump, I'm glad she mentioned Trump. And there are other ways to deal with this whole issue about deportations. There's a woman I'm reading,
So,
Littman.
Speaker, would you like to move to general public comment?
Not almost 1 second
Okay,
more.
then I'm going to ask that you stick to the items first. So I think you have one item, and then you can move to general. So go ahead.
I just want to mention that there are other ways besides the deportations to get rid of Trump. Yeah, I'm reading Lawless. I'm going to bring the
Okay,
book
so
jacket.
general
It's
public
just
comment?
published.
Go ahead. You have 1 minute.
Okay. Algunas de las armas que usted encontrará se conocen como baja ELF, electrónica baja frecuencia.
Yes, the arms that you have found are known as low-frequency electronic weapons.
Thank you. Estos son los peores armas.
Those are the worst arms.
Porque aciertan las blancas, they hit the target. Muy peligrosos están en la batalla y no van a leer nada de eso.
The battle is very dangerous and you will not read anything about it.
Yes. Patente for silent sound, sonido no en los oídos, pero sí en la cráneo.
A petition for sounds that you cannot feel in the skull, but you can hear.
Está en mi t-shirt and no no hacen en Staples. Ya pagué $50 y no me otorgaron la camisa.
You cannot find it in Staples. I paid $50 and they did not give me my shirt. They stole from me.
Public, when you hire clowns, you get a circus. Items 1 through 20 are for abatement liens by these criminals of the incompetent, sleazy Council of Corruption to place massive liens on citizens' properties instead of assisting the public. This clown council is going to vote to give racist Asian John Lee, giving the LAPD another $165,000, and item 58, and they can't find a way to assist these citizens. Instead, these clowns are going to vote on items 1 through 20 to line the pockets of indicted, out on bail, and on trial for polygamy and 21 counts of extortion, Curran Price, and criminally insane Sleazy Dawson via abatement contracts. I demand an investigation of Dawson, Curran Price, and Heather Hutt. All these items against the public should receive a no vote. I demand an investigation. I demand that Sleazy D stop his thought police free speech violating crimes against the people. Items 26 through 29 is for liquor licenses for Poverty Pimp Heather Hutt. Liquor licenses is how these incompetent, corrupt clowns are addressing the 70,000 homeless epidemic emergency, 275,000 billion fire damage emergency, the budget emergency, all of which are incompetent and corrupt government created. Item 53 by Bob Genocide Bloomfield should, in my opinion, have wording added to this item that would fund an investigation into Bob Bloomfield. Reported genocide activities against the people of Gaza with public assets, and an audit to ensure indicted and on trial criminal Curran Price does not embezzle the Mothers Against Drunk Driver funds of this item. Final item, criminally insane sleazy Marquise Dawson is for $7 million for its so-called healthcare facility. However, the item also says that the $7 million is for a 33-unit housing facility. This stinks of sleazy Dawson all the way through. Is it a healthcare facility or is it a housing facility? I demand an investigation that sounds like yet another corrupt criminal Marquise scheme to line the pockets of the most incompetent and corrupt clown ever to crawl on the earth. Sleazy Marquise Dawson, I demand an investigation of you and this item, and we have already notified the proper authorities that may indict this criminal. General public comment.
General public comment.
Last week, Hernandez and Soto Martinez were cheesing on Channel 35, standing on a street corner, giving away bags of food, talking about giving to the community. Someone please tell these two that giving away bags of food, while not a criminal act like Dawson, Price, and Poverty Pimp Hutt, this is not their job. The Chinese counterpart of the City Council and County Board are promoted based on how much of an increase in commerce, and thereby increase in jobs and community well-being. Their community improves, increase in commerce, people. The problem is that none of these incompetent council people know how to increase commerce. They only know standing on street corners, liquor licenses, placing liens on the public, and straight-up Curran Price, Marquise Dawson, Poverty Pimp Hutt, incompetence and corruption.
Hi, I'm Javon Houston. I'm an airport worker at LAX, and I'm coming here because our council president has caused me so much disappointment. I can't believe that you would file this motion to stop our wages. It's a great disappointment. How could you do something like that to us? We worked so hard to get this living wage. We won twice, and you snatched it right from us. To the other council members, please stay strong. Do not allow corporate greed to get in your heads. Your vote that you made changed so many of us, it changed so many of us, our lives, our health care, our wages. We can support ourselves. Please don't allow corporate greed to get in your head. You're doing the right thing.
Good morning, my name is Paul Nagel, and I'm a once and future resident of Pacific Palisades. I will be speaking for the next 1 minute with regards to item 32. I urge the council to approve the funding of the feasibility study for the creation of a climate resiliency district for the Palisades wildfire area, a specific sole purpose entity to address the specific and unique issues arising from the disaster. We are all aware of objections already being raised against the CRD for fears that it will serve as a means to launch initiatives outside of its created purpose. Let's preempt those objections. I urge the Council to support the feasibility study, but with strong, unambiguous accompanying language that restricts, with laser-like focus, the CRD to fire aftermath issues only. Thank you.
Good morning. Which items?
32. Good morning, council members. My name is Valeria Serna, member of Resilient Palisades, Palisadian for the past 3 decades, and I've managed properties for the past 18 years. Given my very real understanding of the climate vulnerabilities and the impacts that have on families, workers, and local businesses, in addition to homeowners, I'm here today to ask for your support to establish the climate resilient districts for Pacific Palisades. CRDs would not only improve the safety and preparedness, it would strengthen the economic backbone of Los Angeles by protecting our small businesses, pharmacies, schools, grocery stores, and homes, the labor force that keeps the city running. Investing in resilience saves money. Every dollar spent returns $4 to $7 in avoided losses. As the city prepares to invest heavily in Olympic infrastructure, it should equally and critically invest in the community that upholds the city every day. A climate resilience district is a fiscally responsible steps towards safer, stronger, and more economically stable Los Angeles. I urge the council to support the feasibility study for the CRD. And finally, I urge council to use science-based policy, no artificial turf, no offshore oil drilling, and full support of nature-based principles. Thanks.
Good morning. My name is Carrie Weaver, and I lost my home in the Palisades fire. I'm a single mother of 3. My children are 20, 18, and 16. 2 are in college, for which I am paying half. The fire was the most negative and consequential event in our lives. We lost everything, the home that I raised my children in, and all of the memorable items that represented their childhood. I'm working on rebuilding my home alone, and I'm concerned about the town I am returning to. We need a community that is resilient to future fire calamities and climate calamities. We need sustainable infrastructure improvements, green spaces, renewable energy to counter the negative impacts of climate change, particularly wildfires. I'm here to request that the council strongly consider the creation of a climate resilience district for Pacific Palisades. Thank you for your time and your attention.
Hello, my name is Francisco. I am a member of Unite Here Local 11, and I worked in Terminal 5 at LAX. I'm here to speak about the Olympic wage. We fought for years to get dignified wage and quality health care, and we won twice. The introduction of a new policy to water down the wage is unacceptable. The council president should not cave to corporate interest. He should stand strong and defend the working Angelinos. I demand that he withdraw the motion immediately. Protect Angelinos, protect the wage. Thank you.
Good morning. So you have 3 minutes for the items and 1 minute for general public comment. Please begin with the items.
No me diga cómo te quiero estar. Estoy en número 1 primero, pendejo pelón.
Don't tell me when to begin. I'm on number 1, you bald dummy.
Pero voy a hablar en número 2 también, en la calle de 14, pinche pendejo.
But I'm also going to talk about number 2, on Street 14, dummy.
Hey, abogado pendejo, estoy en número 3 con el pinche mococker, pinche puto.
Hey, dumb lawyer, I'm number 13 with fucking McOsker, fucking dummy.
CD8, motherfuckers! Lean for nuisance abatement. It's about time you do your job, Marquis C. Harris, Baldy-Dawson. According to Smoking Scan, you and those 2 dummies attorneys up there don't know shit about abatement. Otherwise, this city wouldn't look like a fucking rat hole like it does. Got it? Oh, that's right, I'm speaking English again. Woo, woo, woo! Look at item 37. David O. Carter.
Item 37 is not open for public comment as public hearing was already held at committee. Please stick to
Item
the other items.
38, David O'Carter.
38?
I can speak on 38?
Item 38 is also not open.
Gracias, pendejo, para tu contestar. No me diga cómo yo puedo hablar, güey.
Thank you, dummy. Don't tell me how I can to answer.
Entonces, fregados, este pinche mapa de tracta 83306 en lugar de Sud Hudson Avenue en CD5 con la Katie Juju, fuck you.
I'm sorry, I wasn't able to catch that last part. Could you repeat that?
What kind of fucking translation is this shit? You're supposed to translate everything in Spanish, sir.
Hold on.
No. You're not doing that. One, take him to his general public comment, and you're not going to be abusive to the translator. That's just, we're not doing it.
And Mr. Herman, you're welcome to speak in Spanish. You have been given multiple opportunities to stay on the items that are open for public comment, and you have not done so. So, as the council president said, you are now moved on to general public comment. You have 1 minute. Go ahead.
President Donald J. Trump Task Force, Snyder versus Phelps. Westboro, science plainly relates to issues. God hates the USA. Thank God for 9/11. America is fucking doomed. Don't pray for the USA. Thank God for IEDs, fag troops. Semper Fi, fags. God hates fags. Maryland Taliban fags doom fucking nations. Not blessed, just cursed. Thank God for dead soldiers. Pope in hell. Priests rape boys. Scientology is a cult that rapes children and women and men. Fuck you, dead soldiers. Pope in hell. Priests rape boys. You're all going to hell. Fucking God hates you. On behalf of Smoking Scant and Katie Boo Boo in Texas, fuck Los Angeles and fuck you too, baldy asshole fool.
That's your time. Please surrender the mic to the officer.
Do I wait?
Good morning. I'm sorry, which items?
I'm good.
Which items would you like to speak to?
General comment. I need to be really quick.
You have 1 minute. Go ahead.
All right, I see how things are right here, very hectic now. I am working on a bunch of programs right now for development of Los Angeles, things that are very, very important to the future of Los Angeles. One of the most important things though right now, because I know that your attention is probably dwindling from the comments that are or have been had already, is organization of LAUSD. Now, what I've been trying to do is to get them to focus on the inclusion of a curriculum program to support ethnic American youth, girls, etc., to be exposed to the office of the White House specifically. After seeing former Vice President Kamala Harris's defeat to current President Trump, I think that it's sober realization amongst us all is that it's going to take an active measure to have these communities whose families, whose blood have contributed to this nation represented. I need support and attention on that. That's all. God bless you all.
Okay, so it's about sidewalks. I don't care who fixes the sidewalks. I don't care if it's the youth program. I don't care who it is, but we need them fixed. I keep getting into accidents, because my tires will spin out of control when you hit any kind of bump, and it's just ridiculous. So yes, please let the youth, maybe they could do a better job at fixing the sidewalk than anyone else. So I say yes. As far as the nuisance properties, I am going to say it's missing. You have a missing one on your list. There's a lot there, and I'm glad you're dealing with nuisance properties, but you forgot the one at 4810 Sunset Boulevard. I see it missing from the agenda, and it shouldn't be, okay? Because what is more of a nuisance than a place that is constantly...
So which item are you speaking to?
1 through 3. That is consistently violating the rights of the public, blasting horrible, loud music, preventing the neighbors or anyone from going up and down the street.
Respectfully, if you're going to speak to items 1 through 3, you need to speak to the properties that are focused on 1 through 3. Otherwise, you can continue during general if you'd like.
No, it's okay. And then Then I want to get to the lighting, okay? So again, and I think Smoke and Scan will agree with me 100%. There is not enough lighting in this city. I don't know what you guys are doing. I don't know why it's so dark, but even when I put my little headlights on, it's not enough. And again, I've crashed just because you can't see holes. And now I got glasses, so maybe, hopefully I'll see better. But still, even with the glasses, you can't see all the damaged sidewalks, okay? It's just to the point of it's ridiculous.
Right.
Where's
So
all the
I'm
money
giving
going?
you wide latitude on this, but if you want to continue on these items, I'm going to need you to speak to the actual lighting districts that they are addressing.
Yeah, whatever one that whatever one it is for the next one. I want that district, whatever the name is. Like I said, I'm getting used to my new glasses, so if you want to read it to me for me, I appreciate it. But for all of them, for the actual district, because I may want to visit, sir, you know what I mean? And I may want to, and I probably do visit, and I want to be able to get through it. And, whatever, I think CD13, right? Or are they fixing the lights there in CD13? Now, I know that, Scientology is all lit up, right, with illegal lights that the city has not approved. So I appreciate that part. But it's so dark, it's dangerous. And people are coming for the Olympics soon. And so please get that part together. Okay, so for the sake of expediency, I'll just go to public comment.
You have 1 minute, general public comment.
Thank you. Okay, so I don't, with the holiday parade, okay, it was ridiculous that, the police had so many officers protecting the Scientology pirate balloon. Mind you, with all the protests that's ever gone on in the past 2 years, Mr. Lee, you still owe me that apology. Neither Smoke and Scan or myself have forgotten. But why does a balloon need more protection than the citizens? Nobody else had this level of protection for a balloon. That kept falling. So, it was ridiculous. And mind you, not one Scientologist has been attacked or assaulted by any protester or anyone who's documenting this stuff. But we have over 12 cases, which will lead to lawsuits. They're in the process, I'm sure, of where Scientologists, their guards, or the LAPD on behalf of Scientology has assaulted protesters. So really, if you're going to put out how many hours, for hours and hours of LAPD being there, 20 cops for one balloon, you should be putting that for the protesters because they're the ones that need the protecting. Thank you.
Okay, good morning. So start with item number 1. 我相信心许愿，得拿着去相信。尽管路途遥远，得拿在圣诞前。我想圣诞老人很忙，得拿他从未现身。得拿单来，我总会想起他。一年中没时光，得拿们都回家。在圣诞气氛中，得拿单都很难。我想装饰圣诞树，得拿有一同欢聚。圣诞节来，得拿乐趣无限。Item number 2. 得拿给准备的礼物是用心守护的，得拿事情我都听过，却从未感受过。平安夜里没人睡觉，我在等。得拿，请你爱上我。得拿，请你看我。我一直在爱你，得拿，请你相信，我会不离不弃。我心永恒海枯石烂，情定会比金坚。That's all I want when Christmas comes to town.
Okay,
That's
so
all I want when
this does not sound like it's on the
comes to
agenda based on your
town.
last statement. I'm going to ask you please stick to the
Item
items that are
number
open.
3. Now move on to item number 3. 冲破大风雪，坐在雪橇上，奔驰过田野，欢笑又歌唱，铃声响叮当，精神多欢畅。今晚滑雪真快乐，把滑雪歌儿唱。叮当叮当叮当叮当，铃儿响叮当。今晚滑雪多快乐，我们坐在雪橇上。嘿，叮当叮当叮当叮当，铃儿响叮当。今晚滑雪多快乐，我们坐在雪橇上，看着白雪遍地，趁着少年好时光。亲爱的朋友，把滑雪歌儿唱。有一匹素色马，日行千里长，把它套在雪橇上，就飞奔向前方。嘿，叮当叮当叮当叮当，铃儿响叮当。General public comment. Thank you very much. I'm here to wish everybody, including Smoking Scan, including our council member Spindler, a Merry Christmas. Hopefully that we are still not forget. Let's stop. Do not forget about our election in 2026. Spindler in City 1 is facing a lot of serious challenges, serious competitions. So everybody, Smoking Scan, let's make sure we remember. We do not forget about Spindler. We need to give him all of the support we have on the ballot to take the Hernandez out, because we need law enforcement, we need more protection, we need a public safety. And then for the everybody else, that my community hotline, emotional support hotline,
really
I have already spoke with
Herman,
the emotional
sir,
support
your
hotline.
time has been paused. Hold on. Mr. Herman, you're here almost every day.
You did not pause my time,
yes,
basically.
your time is paused. Do not disrupt me while I'm trying to warn
paused
Mr.
my
Herman.
time 10
Speaker,
seconds
this
late.
is your first and only formal warning. Do not disrupt me while I'm trying to provide instructions. I asked the clerk's office to pause your time, and your time was paused. Mr. Herman, this is also your first warning. Please do not violate our sign rule when there are people behind you. You're here at almost every single meeting. You are familiar with our rules. If I see it again, then you will be subject to Rule 7 and Rule 12 and will be eligible for removal. Go ahead. Your time was paused, sir. You have 19 seconds.
My time was paused 10 seconds after you told me my time is paused. So right now, for everybody else that we're gonna support Mr. Spindler, and at the same time, I want to make sure that everyone, we're gonna go to the ballot, we're gonna go to the City 1, we're gonna support our Council District 1, because Council District 1 cannot be regulated by illegals only. Council District 1 cannot be surrounded by homeless only. We need to make sure a council member, council candidate with law and order, with
Speaker,
enough
your time has
education.
expired. Next speaker. And before the next speaker begins, I see a lot of confused looks. So I will extend the same offer to the previous speaker that we extend every time he comes up and sings in a foreign language. If you would like to request an interpreter, you are more than welcome to do so. If you give us at least 48 hours in advance, we will do our best to accommodate that request. To members of the public, we have made that we have made that offer multiple times, and it has been declined. Obviously, we cannot force him to use an interpreter. Good morning. Which items would you like to speak to?
Good morning, council members. I'd like to speak on item 32.
Okay, so you have 1 minute for general public comment. Go ahead.
Climate Resilience District determines whether Pacific Palisades can properly rebuild its infrastructure, restore insurability, and bring hope to residents who have lost everything. We do not lack proof of a CRD is feasible. We lack the CRD itself. There is a misconception that Palisadians are all wealthy. That is simply not true. Many are teachers, retirees, fixed-income seniors who cannot return without your support. We need a CRD now to modernize water, harden utilities, stabilize hillsides, and restore fire protections so all of Los Angeles will be safer. A CRD will create its own revenue mechanism and bring property tax revenue back to the city far faster than our current system can. This makes it the right financial choice for the city of Los Angeles. Meanwhile, Altadena already has a recovery path. Pacific Palisades does not. We need your support. Otherwise, the consequences are already visible. Seniors and lower income residents will be pushed out and developers will move in. This is not resilience, this is displacement. And the world will be looking at us for the Olympics. Thank you.
Next speaker.
My name is Shayla Myers. I'm an attorney with the Legal Aid Foundation of Los Angeles, and I'm here to speak on item 31, which calls for the immediate implementation of AB 630, which was a controversial and very convoluted bill at the legislature that will make it easier for the city to immediately dismantle RVs, many of which are currently being used as people's homes. The motion as drafted doesn't take into account the city's comprehensive strategy to address RV homelessness, and it does not address any of the issues that were raised at the legislature about the law, leaving the immediate implementation of the bill to the city attorney, the CAO, LADOT, without requiring it to come back to council first, without requiring a report back, and without requiring thoughtful implementation, is exactly the type of knee-jerk reaction that this council has taken time and time again that makes the homelessness crisis worse, not better. Thank you.
66 is putting up no parking signs where all these people who live in vehicles have been herded in the Playa Vista area, right? So they've been herded out of Venice, they've been herded out of the Bayona wetlands. They haven't really been offered much to speak of. Maybe a few of them got something to eat. But the rest of them, I've been working with these people I happen to know really need our assistance, and putting red curbs in is not a solution. Now, for the general public comment, I want to address item 31, which is not necessarily about abandoned vehicles. If it was just about abandoned vehicles, that would be narrow, but it's not. It's going to encourage more towing of people who live in their vehicles who may have operation issues. You will be putting them on the street. And we don't want to do that. We don't want more street homelessness. It's not safe. You know, this is about the safety of the people who are living most vulnerable. You know, not about the safety of the surrounding housed people. We have to consider who is the most vulnerable here, and we have to take in consideration what's happening to them. Putting them on the street is not a good plan. So I just want to say, if you want to make it narrow to abandoned vehicles, you know, maybe that's the plan, because that's what you say in the motion, but it's not about that. It's about towing people who are possibly have inoperable vehicles, and I've been in that position myself. I had a part go wrong, and I had to replace my whole steering column, and I was stuck for almost 2 months trying to find the part that doesn't exist anymore. I had to go to junkyards. I mean, it's a 30-plus-year-old vehicle that is worth more than $4,000, but not by sight.
My name is Andrew Gonzalez, and I am a fast food worker here in Los Angeles. I came here today to ask you to support the new fast food fair work ordinance. The fast food industry is known for having many unfair labor practices and greedy bosses who do anything to take advantage of their workers. By receiving trainings about our rights, many workers like me can better protect themselves against many forms of labor injustice. Thank you guys for your time.
Announcements, members. Councilmember Jurado.
Thank you, Council President. Colleagues, as we move through the holiday season after such a challenging year, I keep coming back to how much these moments in being in community really matter. We all host wonderful gatherings in our districts, but I wanted to share what happened at our tree lighting ceremony at Herman this past weekend, because it says something bigger about the work ahead of us. Last Saturday, despite my team's tireless preparation, we discovered on the day of the event that the electrical box had been burnt through. My team immediately jumped into action. We were on the phone with our city partners for hours and talking to 4 different departments who told us, despite it being an LADWP pole, nobody knew who the electrical box belongs to. To this day, we still do not know which department owns that box, and so everybody was passing the buck saying they couldn't repair it. And so while we were, trying to make sure this tree lighting happened, our Santa Clauses were the Board of Public Works President, Steve Kang, and the Bureau of Street Lighting, who showed leadership. They stepped in and moved quickly to make sure that the tree was lit for the night. I'm genuinely grateful for their leadership in making sure that those children were very happy. But colleagues, the truth is this is not a win for us in CD14. The fix was temporary. We're now working with the Bureau of Street Lighting to figure out what exactly happened and how we can fix it properly and not just for a few hours. This points to a bigger issue. It shouldn't take a council member escalating across the city to get basic city services delivered and to get the clarity on who's responsible for an electrical box. This kind of systemic dysfunction hurts our communities, especially those that rely on us most. So for me, public safety begins with the equitable delivery of city services. If people can't trust us with the small things, how can they trust us with the big ones? So I'll keep pushing and we'll try to fight through the bureaucracy, one electrical box at a time. I look forward to your partnership issue, but really big ups to Steve Kang and Bureau of Street Lighting for helping save Herman's tree lighting.
Thank you so much, Councilmember, and thank you to Board of Public Works leadership and our departments who stepped up in that moment.
Thank you, Council President. Colleagues, today I rise to adjourn in honor of a giant in the world of architecture and a defining creative voice of our time, Frank Gehry. His passing is felt across the globe, but perhaps nowhere more deeply than here in Los Angeles, a city he helped reimagine through his extraordinary vision. Frank refused to accept the boundaries of what a building was supposed to be. He dared us to see architecture as movement, as emotion, as possibility. His designs twisted and curved with a daring that challenged convention and expanded our collective imagination. He showed that architecture could be both sculpture and shelter, both a bold statement and an intimate human experience. Born in Canada, he came to Los Angeles as a young man, working odd jobs long before the world would come to know his name. Yet even then, he carried with him the early sparks of wonder he found as a child in museums and at the sketch table. Those moments drew him toward architecture where imagination and structure met. His legacy lives throughout the city. In my district, the Walt Disney Concert Hall stands as a shimmering symbol of our creative spirit and an anchor for the arts and a place where his vision reshaped the heart of downtown Los Angeles. And his impact extends across our district. The Cabrillo Marine Aquarium in San Pedro, Loyola Law School in Pico Union, the California Science Center in Expo Park, the Binoculars Building in Venice, and the Goldwyn Hollywood Regional Branch Library, just to name a few of his works. Each of these works show a different side of his creativity, yet all share the same spirit: restless, inventive, and deeply human. Frank embodied what makes Los Angeles extraordinary: the freedom to imagine beyond limits, and the courage to build what others might dismiss as impossible in a city of dreamers, risk-takers, and creators of what comes next. He gave the city not just iconic sculptures, but a renewed sense of what public spaces can inspire. Today, we honor his life, his artistry, and the profound mark he left on the city he called home. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Blumenfield.
Just wanted to add on, I'd love to be added to that one. In fact, we all may want to be added to that one, but he was a remarkable individual. I had the privilege of meeting with him several times throughout my career, and it was always on public projects, because he didn't just do these big fancy things. He cared about the public. Most recently, it was about the LA River, and he had these incredible ideas about how certain sections of the river we could actually cap them and build a park on top of it, not just in this downtown area, but up in the headwaters of the river. He caused people to think differently, to look at a problem, and where everyone doesn't see a solution or sees a binary solution, he's the kind of person who is saying, no, I can do something very different, and just expands your mind. And really, he has had such a dramatic impact on this city and on the world with his architecture. I just wanted to be added on, and may he rest in peace and redesign the heavens for all of us.
Thank you so much, Mr. McCosker.
For this adjournment, I'm sure we all want to be added on. Thank you also for acknowledging the Cabrillo Aquarium. That was an early work, and we are very proud of. There is another facility in my district that Frank Gehry not only designed, but donated all of his efforts to, and that was the Children's Institute in Watts. And at the dedication of that building, he was, I will paraphrase, he was quoted as saying, with architecture, you can tell a child that you love them. And this is a building that is really, really lovely, and it embraces every family that comes there, and we are very proud in the 1-5 to have at least 2 buildings designed by Frank Gehry, and may he rest in peace.
Thank you so much. Councilmember Jurado, with your permission, we'll make this an all-council adjournment. Mr. Gehry was one of the consummate Angelinos and one of our greatest angels who, among his many gifts that we see in buildings, is the value that underlines those buildings. And that is that, one, this is a city of dreamers who say things like, you can put a silver rose in the middle of downtown and call it a concert hall, and the world will beat a path to it. And that human beings deserve beauty. And we can build beauty, or we can build not beautiful things. And so he insisted that we build beauty and created a culture of beauty in our city. And so with that, I thank you for that adjourning motion. Any other adjourning motions, members? All right, seeing none, we're adjourned.